So last time we were talking about the body of flesh. Throughout time, evolution has developed flesh and organs through various bodies of flesh, coming up through fish, reptiles, amphibians, birds, sea mammals, land mammals, into primates, and then on to humanoids. Just as when sea mammals evolved as far as they could before making the jump to land, humans are now at a similar junction. To make the jump into space, it will involve a change of body. As has been said, the mundane flesh is not the pinnacle embodiment to venture into the mysterious depths. Its greatest flaw is that it's mortal. So the ultimate embodiment to strive for would be an immortal embodiment. Once this is achieved, it will be recognized that this really isn't an embodiment at all. So first understand that awareness does not depend on a body to exist. Your body is not who you ultimately are. A good analogy is electricity and lamps. Electricity is like awareness and flows the path of least resistance. When a lamp is plugged into an electrical outlet, this is comparable to what we could call a body and a life. People identify themselves with the lamp and overlook the electricity. When a lamp breaks down, people view this like death. But even when a lamp is unplugged or thrown into the garbage, did the electricity get destroyed? The same is true for awareness. A body of flesh is like a lamp plugged into an outlet. The awareness is like the electricity. So death is really only the death of a body. The awareness that we ultimately are never gets created nor destroyed. It is forever present. The current bodies we are associating ourselves with are becoming outmoded. They are not the best suited embodiments for our future explorations of time and space, just as a dolphin, even though it is one of the most advanced mammals of the sea, is not the best suited embodiment to venture onto the land. We are arriving at this time for a change of embodiment. It is needed because we have greater callings than simply babysitting an over-demanding, high-maintenance lump of needy flesh. The body of flesh is the paramount attachment. This body of flesh is primarily concerned with itself. It is self-absorbed and indulgent, and the activities it mainly engages in are quite distasteful, to say the least. Shitting, pissing, farting, belching, slobbering, sperming, and lubricating all over the place. And part of its upkeep requires the consumption of other sentient life. We gobble up other organisms without any care or consideration. It's all quite disgusting. The best one can do is go vegetarian, but realize that even this requires the destruction of a form of sentience in organic life. We can make ourselves feel better by imagining that plants do not matter because they don't have brains, a nervous system, or a sentience that is similar to animals. But don't fool yourself. Plants do feel distress. They are organic life and they have sentience of a different kind. But the problem is not sources of food. It is the stomach. A burden and one item from a body of flesh that needs upgrading or elimination. We need to shed ourselves of over-encumbering organs that take up most of our time, just trying to satisfy their needs and demands. Of course, all of this sounds crazy because people know no other alternative. But seriously, did you really think evolution stopped with mankind? Of course, you can discount this by simply choosing to ignore evolution as a fact of context. But what's really at this root of this denial is the fear of change. This is why people feel more secure in dogma and the idea of a separate God that created us one way and one way only, with no change. Even their ideas of death do not encompass much change. It is all very familiar, viewing it as only a release of the body, and that in death we are simply just a ghost facsimile of our bodies, and that we go to a paradise where we essentially engage in all the same activities we did in the flesh in similar environments. People need to get over the fear of change. We have never stopped changing. It doesn't matter if you ignore it or not. Evolution is part of the constructed reality. If it makes you feel better to think that evolution exists, but only because a separate God created it that way, fine, whatever. At least you are within the vicinity of being in the ballpark. But no matter how you think of it, God or no God, change doesn't stop, and evolution will continue beyond mankind in his current form. The most ideal form would be a dreaming body, or a body of pure awareness. We probably won't develop a body of pure awareness until far beyond the next evolutionary progression. Some think a body of pure awareness is impossible, but this stems from a limited frame of reference within limited and stunted imagination. So in making the transition from flesh to an embodiment of pure spirit, the next step will probably involve a body of semi-flesh, semi-dream body. This would be a low-level extraterrestrial. An extraterrestrial that is just one step up from mankind. Welcome to the world of the extraterrestrials. We call them extraterrestrials or aliens. It is our attempt to otherize them, to put them into a position separate from us, in much the same way we try to otherize primates. It feeds our need to have individuality, which amplifies our contrived self-importance. We like to think that they are here to invade us, enslave us, or steal our resources, or that they are here because we are an important project that they created and are overseeing, or that they just stumbled upon us and want to save us from our own stupidity. Some people avoid the situation altogether and just deny their existence. All of these scenarios are self-important and separatist. The fact is, they exist just as we exist. In fact, they are none other than us. We are looking back upon ourselves. Mankind is like a ghost looking into his future. We are leading ourselves to where we need to be. The fact that these so-called aliens are here is a great sign for this particular planet and the humanity upon it. It means that we were a success. We evolved and didn't destroy ourselves. It would be more alarming if there were no signs of more advanced intelligence. This would be an ill omen. But this is what life does. It evolves and it is very efficient at it. People often wonder about this and pose questions as to why don't the extraterrestrials just simply reveal themselves, lay it all out, and give full disclosure. We have been doing this, but it has been done very gradually. This is what has been going on all along. One thing that needs to be understood is the communication barrier. A good way to look at it is to look back. Look back at our former selves. We evolved from single cells all the way up to advanced primates. Have you ever tried sitting down with a monkey and tried to explain it all to him? Will he understand you? If not, why not? This same issue exists between the extraterrestrial and the human. They have third-person perspectives, unlike instinct and self-awareness. The outside awareness is aware of instinct and self-awareness, but these are not its foundations. They are but components of a larger operating system. The workings of this operating system and all its applications cannot be explained to and understood by humanity with humans' limited self-aware framework. The only thing they can do is guide us into the advancement so that we can understand it ourselves from a frame of reference that is able to grasp it. They cannot just shove higher understanding into our brains. Our current brains cannot hold it anyway. The type of advancement goes beyond anything we can understand. Awareness is seated differently in higher advanced states and is not necessarily tied into things such as bodies of flesh with all their organs. We are only fit to understand and comprehend things within certain guidelines and boundaries. So this is one of the reasons why there has been no outright mass contact, and there never will be. If there ever is open contact, it will be with a limited select few in an intimate setting. This is the only condition where the so-called full disclosure will take place. If you're waiting for them to land on the White House lawn, you can stop waiting because it ain't gonna happen. Extraterrestrials have not been working with or cooperating with the government. The extraterrestrials have left little packages, Easter eggs, if you will, for us to discover and utilize to help propel us towards the coming advancement. This has allowed us to reverse engineer many of our common everyday technologies. And, just so you know, there is no such thing as a UFO crash. Any such event was planned purposefully and done intentionally. So there is no agreement or deal-making relationships existing between the ETs and mankind. Similarly, as there is no cooperation agreement or deal-making relationships existing between humans and primates. There are no conspiracies to kill or harm us. There are no plans for an invasion, or any complex science fiction storyline involving enslaving, eating, or using us as reproductive vehicles. If any of these things were so, they could have had what they wanted a long time ago, outright, without any stealth, subtlety, or cooperation with governments. The particulars of the callings and doings of extraterrestrials cannot be known to us from our perspective. We can only know it by being it. We are guiding ourselves into waking up, into our higher selves. the bird's eye perspective, to truly be on the outside looking in.